There we go. That's all right. There's my audio. Dave's. I mean, I feel like they kind of like it when Dave's muted. So you know.
Yeah.
Hey, did that work? Talk, Dave. Nope. Talk again, Dave. No. They just keep saying something stupid.
Stupid.
So stupid. Let's see. Any more audio? Talk, Dave.
Would have one O say the other
There
O.
we go. Thankfully. Oh man, you were the worst sound checker I've ever heard in my life. Let's test your audio. Goes quiet. Stupid. All right, we fixed the audio. Last stream was horrible because we couldn't hear Dave, but it was actually kind of nice at the same time. Actually, kind of nice. If you guys are still out there, welcome. Welcome all. Let me set this up real fast. Is Jayden Daniels the best rookie ever, Dave?
Best rookie ever? I don't know about ever, but he's definitely the best rookie this year. I mean, if he wins the Super Bowl, he will be the best rookie ever.
If he wins the Super Bowl, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah. Remember Ben Roethlisberger made to the AFC Championship game his first year as a starter.
I didn't realize that. That's good to know.
Yes, and the Steelers went 15-1 that year. So,
yeah. Underrated quarterback.
Yeah.
Underrated.
He also won 13 games as a starter that year. So, Jayden Daniels did not. Those one game difference, really.
Yeah, I wonder whose stats were better, though. I mean, stat-wise, Jayden Daniels is pretty solid. So, Big Ben, we're talking about now is Big Ben, guys. Pretty good year. Pretty good year. Yeah, if he wins, if he goes to the Super Bowl, so he's got to be, NFC East represent.
I wish it was the Commanders, not the Eagles representing, but
NFC East represent, man. I hate that we're still possibly going to see my least favorite matchup in the Super Bowl is still on the table, which is Chiefs versus Eagles. Just like no one wants to watch that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind watching the Eagles as long as they lose to like the Bills. That's all.
No, I know. Well, I'm just saying. Yeah,
I'd rather watch the Chiefs beat the Eagles than see the Eagles win at all.
I would rather see the Eagles beat the Chiefs personally.
I would not, because I'm not a cold-blooded traitor like you just admitted.
Cold-blooded traitor? What do you mean?
Yeah, you would really pick the Eagles to win a game.
Well,
if I had it my way, the Eagles would never win
I don't like
again.
what the Chiefs stand
for.
If
I had it my way, the Eagles would not be a football team.
No. Eagles at least. Here's the thing, Dave. You're looking at it totally wrong. Would I take the team that at least is playing fair, or would I take the team that stands for corruption?
The Eagles are hell's spawn.
You completely avoided the whole question. Would you rather root for a team that's at least playing fair, or a team that clearly has complete bias from the NFL and the entire system and the referees?
If you replace the word
this question again, let's see him avoid it again.
Go ahead. If you replace the word fair with the Eagles, I will vote for corruption any day of the week.
See, he refused to answer it with a stupid joke that he thought was funny. Yeah, that's all right. Unbelievable. Dave, that's why I can't stand the Chiefs. They are like, it's like seeing corruption win. It's like finding out the day WWE is fake is when the Chiefs win.
As long as they beat the Eagles.
No.
Yes.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
I would still. I feel the same when they did play. Actually, did I? No, when they were playing, I did want the Chiefs to beat the Eagles.
Tyler, I had a parlay going where I was going to win $1,200 if in the wild card Saquon scored on that final touchdown run, or that would have been a touchdown run on that final run of his. He decided to slide, and I'm like, Saquon Barkley, you son of a freaking bitch.
Yeah.
That was the final straw with me and Saquon. First, this is my tumultuous history of Saquon. So if you don't know, Saquon in college was committed to Rutgers.
If you haven't realized, this is a common occurrence here on the show. Is Dave?
He-
This is actually therapy for Dave. This is what we should
Yeah.
call this channel. It's therapy for Dave between him and Saquon Barkley. It's been a whole year thing. Every week,
So
it gets brought up like at least once.
he was committed to Rutgers. Decommits go to Rutgers' biggest rival, Penn State. Fine, okay. Tears it up at Penn State. Is drafted second overall by the New York Giants. I'm like, okay, I can forgive this guy. You know, he is the best player probably in the generation.
Let him get it. We're gonna let him get this out of his system. Go ahead.
And so he plays for the Giants very faithfully for like 5 years.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, despite all the injury bugs, people saying like, oh, he's not really that great. Giants should have never taken a running back second overall. I supported him. I was like, you know what? No, Saquon is the guy who can turn our franchise around. He is the guy. He is the best player the Giants have ever drafted besides LT. Then, this past year, he decides, I want to be paid more than the typical running back. I'm like, okay, Saquon, come on. Come on. Let's go. Running backs are not that valuable anymore. And you are already going to be a Giants legend. So, after 2 great years, mind you, he had 2 injury years and then he had 2 great years after that. All right? He literally signs with the one team I could not stand if he would go to. Like, you think John Mara couldn't sleep. I would really go and cry myself to sleep if he went to Eagles. What happens? He goes to the Eagles. And not only does he go to the Eagles, he rushes for 2,000 yards with the Eagles. He is literally the best running back this year on the Eagles. And how does he repay me for all my years of loyalty? He screws me out of $1,200 on a fucking parlay.
Yes, he does.
I just can't. I can't even look at that Saquon Barkley jersey in my closet right now. Like, I just can't look at it.
You good? You all right? Get out of your system yet? No. I think you need to pop a Diet Pepsi or something.
I gotta lay down.
I think. Are you good? All right. Well.
We'll
Yeah.
be.
All right. We got it. We're good. Thank God. Thank God we can hear that cold, crisp can pop open early in the morning. Aspartame animal. Well, anyway, back to the subject we were talking about. Davis really needed to go on a rant there.
I really did. If not for me, then for all the people out there.
Yeah. So anyway, back to why the Chiefs suck. Dude, did you see the 2 horrible calls on the Chiefs? It's like, it's game in, game out, nonstop, all day, every day. Clearly, they always get the benefit of bad calls or calls not called. And it's just, dude, the fans are onto it. It's annoying at this point.
Patrick Mahomes is really embracing that all-state role where he tries to put football and soccer together.
Yeah. He's
embraced the soccer life by flopping.
It's absolutely annoying, though. Like, he just did that flop thing was, come on, bro.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad. Because that's their whole game, dude. That's part of their game is they know the refs are protecting Mahomes more than other NFL quarterbacks. The most in the entire NFL. That's part of his game. And you notice he does it towards the end of the game when they need to make something happen. What happens every single time? Patrick Mahomes runs along the sideline knowing those guys aren't going to come try and lay him out because they're going to get a flag and 15-yard penalty, right?
That's what I'm saying, right?
That's what I'm saying is he's using his favoritism against. He literally is. He's literally using his favoritism in the NFL in the game. Literally. Not even the fact that he's a quarterback. It's that he's Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, if it was Lamar Jackson running along the sidelines and he gets, blasted, no one really cares that much. But if it's Patrick Mahomes, it's...
Lamar Jackson is a running back.
I know, but still, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. It's annoying. That's why I cannot stand the Chiefs, is they literally get all the calls. It's super annoying. They never call false start on them.
can we just also return to this subject or shift to this
If you
subject?
talk about Saquon Barkley one more time, Dave, I
No.
swear to God.
Was Lamar Jackson the most overrated playoff quarterback?
He deserves as much heat as Dak Prescott does.
He is like MVP or most valuable choke artist.
He chokes in the playoffs every year. He can't beat another good team in the playoffs.
He's sure to give you win in the first round. You know, plays great throughout the regular season, MVP caliber regular season.
Yeah.
When it comes to playoffs, the guy is a choke artist.
Yeah.
Like I know people are like, oh well, they would have won if Mark Andrews caught that ball. I'm like, yeah, they probably could have, but they also would have been in a better position if Lamar Jackson could hang on to the fucking football and not throw it picks.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
And I don't blame Mark Andrews too much on that. Like, I don't think people realize how cold it was and what his hands were probably feeling like in that moment, you know?
I will say that for the caliber player he is, he's got to make that big time.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course, like if you look at it from your nice warm couch at home and you see this guy totally like not catch the ball, could he have caught it? Yeah, of course. But to take into effect how cold it was on that field, they said it was literally, I think, the coldest game Lamar Jackson's ever played in. So
no excuse.
Still, I'm just saying that's totally a factor, and I'm like, all right.
But did you see that earlier play when Mahomes? See, I'm still stuck in Mahomes, where Lamar Jackson throws it to Andrews, and Andrews, instead of running towards the end zone, turns back like he's gonna pitch it to someone else, and then fumbles the ball.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, that was another one. I'm like, Andrews, come on, you gotta play smarter. You're an elite tight end. You have to play smarter than that.
And also, back to the Chiefs being sus. Why do kickers always choke when they play the Chiefs?
I know.
Well, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're just paying off these kickers on the other team. Like, Fairbairn was probably like the best kicker this year, possibly. Easily arguable.
During these playoffs, I've seen more field goals missed. Like, I think I've ever seen all year. I'm like,
absolutely wild. God. Absolutely wild. If he made all of his kicks that game, they would have won.
Like, people were like criticizing, like, 35-yard field goal is so stupid. No one's gonna miss it. It doesn't make a difference from the old 25 yards. I'm like, you know what? The NFL showed us on that one because you just cannot guarantee an extra point anymore.
Yeah.
Like, even freaking Justin Tucker has been missing field goals this year.
He might retire this year. He might not taint. He shouldn't taint his legacy anymore. He's done.
And
he should call it quits now.
Zane Gonzalez on the Commanders. Oh my God! Like, I don't understand how he still has a job.
Yeah.
Like they went through a lot of bad kickers this year. Like, but he is a liability. If they're talking about game on the line to win a NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl with his kicking,
yeah,
I would be sweating as a Commanders fan. Like, think about like when we saw Lawrence Tynes miss like 2 field goals to win the Giants an NFC Championship game in 2007, 2008. It's like that same kind of thing, except Tynes was actually like decent at kicking that whole year.
Yeah,
it was just the cold, but this guy just flat out sucks. He cannot kick like that beyond a playoff team. That's like Cleveland Browns or Carolina Panthers shit right there.
Yep.
Or even Giants. I'll even go in there like even the Giants.
I'm over it.
Just a field goal.
But still, yeah, I don't understand. I'm like, why do kickers always do so bad? And I think they blocked a kick too again. Like, they're actually really good. The Chiefs are really good at blocking kicks, apparently.
Their defense has stepped up to the point where I miss Steve Spagnuolo. We had him for too few years.
Yeah.
He should have been like the next defensive guru for the Giants, and we only had him for like a year.
Giants should just hire him as a coach.
No. Well, he was the interim head coach after we fired McAdoo. That didn't go very well.
McAdoo, what a joke.
Honestly, he makes the next couple of guys after him look good. Like, think about it. After him, we had Pat Shermer and Joe Judge. McAdoo made him look good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
If Giants don't make larger strides this year, at least a winning record, there's going to be a big clean house.
So something I'm actually not crying over is the Giants are going to most likely lose Mike Kafka to the Saints. He just got flown to New Orleans for like a second coaching interview. So if we lose Mike Kafka, the Giants get 2 compensatory third round draft picks for like the Rooney Rule, the minority of hiring initiative in the NFL for coaches.
Weird.
We get 2 third round picks if I think one this year, one next year if he ends up taking a job someplace.
Yeah.
Which I'll take. We can use extra draft picks.
Yeah.
The Giants probably will think like, you know what? Take the job. We can use the picks.
Use it.
Like, we really didn't need you. I was never crazy on Kafka as the offensive coordinator. Honestly, if we had to keep one coordinator that we fired the past couple of years, it was definitely Wink Martindale. Like, he transformed our defense to like a feasible unit. Like, if we added a couple more players under him, like we would have been like gangbusters on defense. And if we kept Xavier McKinney and
yeah. But if they don't do anything, their GM's going to be gone, head coach is going to be gone. They're going to make massive moves if they don't do anything this year. Massive moves.
Yeah. It'll be another rebuilding year.
I feel like when we say that, though, I feel like we're randomly going to be good next year. Usually what happens.
I mean, I want us to be good next year. I want us to be good. I'm like.
I just don't know what they're going to do for quarterback. I would hate to go another season with the quarterbacks we have. Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito. That's not going to do anything.
Like, if this is really their last year, you have to wonder, like, will they panic and just go after the best quarterback available? Like, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, if he's available still.
No, we've said this before. They really need to go after a veteran quarterback and then wait. I don't think there's good quarterbacks in this class. I think they need to wait for next year.
Yeah, I think they need to wait for next year.
The fact that Schroeder is
Shedeur,
whatever. He's like ranked so high. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback.
He played in a pretty low tier comp. I mean, Big 12 isn't terrible. It has some good teams on there, but if you look at the quarterbacks who've been like really successful in the NFL, it's been SEC all the way. I mean, like Patrick Mahomes played at Texas Tech, so he played in the Big 12. But he's like a rare case. I think he was a rare case of underrated talent in college.
Yeah, and
then just he went to a great team that was able to like develop him. He sat a year behind Alex Smith. They were patient with him, and it paid off big time for them. With Shedeur Sanders, he's going to be thrust to his starting role wherever he goes because some teams are that just desperate right now.
Yeah, so he had. Oh yeah, so in 2022 he was with JKST. I forgot that they were over there and he brought them. He had 40 touchdowns with that team, 3,700 yards. This year, he played pretty well this year. I can't deny that. 4,134 yards, 37 touchdowns.
He played great, but also, he also had like a generational talent at wide receiver and the Heisman Trophy winner.
Exactly, yeah. But you also got to think the same thing about Jayden Daniels and Malik Neighbors when they were together. It was like, okay, maybe Malik's not that good. Maybe it was Jayden Daniels, or maybe Jayden Daniels wasn't that good. Turns out they're both really good.
I think they helped each other. Yeah. Honestly, they helped each other. They were like,
that's low key kind of scary. Both those guys were on the same team in college football.
Not as scary as Joe Burrow on the same team as Jeff.
That's the scariest thing ever. Yeah, that's the scariest thing ever.
that might be the best college football team in the NFL. And yes, that's including like the 2001, like early 2000s Miami Hurricanes, where like 20 players
those guys
are
are
like
dogs.
Hall of Fame candidates, or should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, oof.
Joe Burrow with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase is just nuts.
That is insane. Yeah, unreal.
Yeah, so he did good. I don't know. I just don't see it. Like the year before, he threw for only 3,230 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then 27 touchdowns. Like, not bad. 3 interceptions, that's really good for a whole season. This year, he threw 10 interceptions. I don't know. I mean, he's a pretty mobile quarterback, though, too.
Yeah.
So, it is definitely trending that way. These pocket passers are definitely dying off. It is definitely trending towards mobile Jayden Daniels, Lamar Jackson's, guys that like to run. Josh Allen.
Well, because, I mean, it's all about extending plays. Like, these defenses are getting so good that you have to, like, extend the play.
Yeah, I'd say who's left in the NFL, the last remaining true pocket passer is probably... you could actually say Goff. Goff is a pretty solid pocket passer.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Goff and Stafford both are pretty good pocket passers. Joe is, for one of the younger guys, Joe is closer to being a pocket passer than others. He gets moving, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would call him like a mobile pocket passer, not exactly a mobile quarterback, but he can move around the pocket. He's pretty creative in the pocket.
He's so good at it, which is nice. But
I wouldn't call him a dual threat, but like I said, a mobile pocket passer. Yeah.
There's also, but it's just so many of those guys that are, like, elusive in the backfield. Like, even Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is elusive.
Yeah. But he can be dual threat. Like, he's had design runs for him.
Correct, yeah, exactly. Run along the sideline, hopefully a defender hits him and they get a 15-yard penalty. Yeah, it's a designed run, I know.
And that's kind of like the... I didn't appreciate that stats, by the way.
I'm glad you noticed it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was obvious, like that gray hair on your head. I think this is kind of the future of the RPO. It's like, there's going to be run pass option, then there's going to be run with the running back or run with the quarterback. Like that's where the NFL is trending.
Yeah. Yeah, because it sets up one more defender off of their position. So, like, when you play against Lamar Jackson, there's a guy who's like, all right, you need to sit here and make sure Lamar doesn't run. Versus, like, okay, Jared Goff's not going to run. Let's not worry about this. You're going to go cover over here. So it opens up the defense. That's why these guys do so well, because you have to put a guy on him just in case he starts to go.
But what is the strength of the Lions? It's not the passing game. It's their dual threat running game.
Oh, it's that they both those running backs could start on any other team except for the Ravens and the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I think they can both start for the... Yeah, I'm like, if you get those two, like, you never know. They can both run, like, they can both tear up your defense. So if you don't account for them, or if you, like, go into, like, a pass-heavy defense, those guys will torch you up.
Yeah. Well, their entire offense, Lions offense, who are you going to cover? Like, Sam Laporta? If Sam Laporta is a threat?
Yeah.
Amon-Ra? Jameson Williams is a deep threat you got to worry about.
Yeah.
So it's like, who the hell do I cover? And then you've got, here comes the backup running back. Oh, by the way, he's just as good as the other guy.
Yeah.
You don't get any rest. And while that guy's going, he's going to rest the other guy. So now you've got two fresh starting running backs pounding your face.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's how they did so well, because it was like, you have to worry about everyone. Literally everyone.
Yeah.
And then just as easy as those running backs can have huge days, Jared Goff can have a huge day. Jared Goff can easily go, 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. How you doing?
And then also have 5 interceptions a game. But,
Yeah, which was that rare, but it's like, sucked to happen at that moment.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. I
But
feel they're the best team not to make the Super Bowl this year.
absolutely,
Best
they should have
team.
won. They easily should have won. It was just
Yeah.
an off game, unfortunately.
Tyler starting to twitch because he's like, who's going to be the Chiefs in the Super Bowl now?
I hope the Bills do. The Bills look good, so
It's in Kansas City. Bills in Kansas City is not that
I'm gonna be
great.
so excited. What are you doing for the Super Bowl? Staying with your parents?
Probably might try to get something done with Dan and Matt. We'll see.
Come
Yeah.
to Florida. Fly down. Come down to Pro Bowl.
I'm down Pro Bowl. I can't
Why not?
because
This is how Dave and I have arguments. He has no backing on anything he says because can't. I don't know.
Because you're ugly.
There you go. At least it's an argument. Fair enough.
But
yeah, I would love to see. I would be the highest amount of energy celebrating is if I see the Commanders beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That would be like I would lose it the most in that situation.
that might be asking too much. That might be asking too much.
It's the ultimate.
Crazier things have happened.
The biggest underdog beats the biggest crap team.
That would honestly though be reminiscent of the Giants beating the Patriots.
Exactly.
I think the Giants will still go down as the biggest upset in NFL history, but that would be quite the upset. The only thing the Commanders have is a better record though than the Giants did. The Giants are like 10-6. Commanders are 12-5. But first year coach or first year team. Like a lot of those players are on this team for like the first year. Like the coach has only been there.
That team was all defense though. The team was all defense. We were the ultimate package to defeat Tom Brady. That defensive line was insane.
We played not to lose. I mean, like we had Burris, we had some offensive weapons, but we had so many injuries. Like Jeremy Shockey was out that game. He was out for like the second half of the year.
I forgot he was still playing then.
Yeah, but that's when we got Kevin Boss. We're like, oh, Kevin Boss is good, and then like we got rid of Shockey, which I cried about.
Yeah,
but yeah, like that was straight hands last year, but we had a great line. But our offense, like Jacobs was still pretty decent. We had him on Bradshaw in the wings, so we had a pretty effective running game. We just played very good possession football. Like we made sure the Patriots never touched the ball.
Yeah,
that's how we won. Which
I miss Coughlin,
but it's effective.
I think we got rid of Coughlin too easily.
I think we did too.
Yeah, I miss Coughlin. I'm like, yo, Home Slice brought you 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, which is why they fire him.
Yeah, stupid.
I think they just wanted to change too badly. I'm like, dude, just retool. Like Eli Manning, I think if they retooled effectively, would have won us another Super Bowl at least.
Yeah, the end of Eli's career, they really messed up. Like they made a bunch of wrong calls. OBJ leaving, I wasn't too mad about, but you should have gotten something out of that. Like they had no threatening wide receivers. We had the smallest wide receivers ever. We had Odell Beckham Jr., Sterling Steppard, and who was the other guy? There was one other receiver that was like just as short, like stupid. Slayton.
We just made a ton of bad wide receiver calls with Golden Tate, Brandon Marshall, which was at the end of his career.
Yeah. Oh, Golden Tate. I think that's who it was. I think it was Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard.
I remember Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, and Kenny Galladay was a horrible idea.
Wide receiver who never scored a touchdown.
Like
we made a lot of bad receiver calls, and then we refused to acknowledge the offensive line.
Yeah.
By the time we started to like draft more offensive linemen, Eli had already retired.
Yeah. I would like for them to get like a T. Higgins would be nice. Yeah, but he sounds like he's staying in Cincinnati. But
yeah,
if you get kind of like that Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant type setup, like a big bodied guy, an AB. AB being neighbors. Nice setup.
Travis Hunter and neighbors will be unreal.
Travis Hunter wants to play both sides.
That might be a little too much, but the Giants would be stupid not to you know what? Let's
entertain it. Yeah, I would entertain it.
Entertain it. Yeah. Should Deion Sanders won't let Shedeur play for the Giants?
He will not.
No. Which is kind of ironic because think about it. Like the Giants are like the biggest commercial market team. Like any quarterback who signs with the New York Giants is guaranteed like commercial deals.
Yeah. The Giants need to go get I would actually be kind of happy if the Giants pick up Flacco for like a year.
No. Look, Flacco was clutch, but I mean, come on. Like think about when we played him against like the game we won this year against the Colts. Flacco was in most of the time. Actually, he was in the whole time.
I'm not saying he's good. He's amazing. I'm just saying he plays. He has moments where he does play well and he can get sparked. Like he can be like, oh shit, He has those moments where he's like 4 touchdowns, 300 yards.
I would prefer someone honestly like a Kirk Cousins.
Same. I don't think we'll get that though. Plus, that contract has to go away.
No. Cousins, I feel like he's always been good enough. He's not going to win you like take you to a Super Bowl, but if you put weapons around him, he will play good and we will win games. Like that's how I honestly feel.
I would be very happy. That would be the ideal situation for the Giants at quarterback this year, in my opinion, is that we go pick up Kirk Cousins. That's my opinion. I think that would be the absolute best move. And then the following year, you have Cousins again, who kind of oversees a rookie and really helps him mold into his situation, which is what they kind of did to him in Atlanta. But
Atlanta's weird. I'm not sure Atlanta knows what it wants to do. It wants to be a defense-oriented team, but then they want guys like Bijan Robinson, Drake London to like be star receivers or star weapons. They don't. They drafted a quarterback after signing Cousins to a huge deal. I don't know what the rationality behind that was. If you're going to draft a quarterback. But
he did play pretty well though, Michael Penix. He might be a sleeper pick next year.
I think so, but also, why would you draft Kirk Cousins? That's what you were going to do the whole time. Like, oh, yeah, we wanted Penix to develop. I'm like, well, you waited 10 weeks for him to develop.
Yeah.
And then had to play him anyway. So now you're $80 million poorer, like paying Cousins, and Penix, they really didn't develop for all that long.
Yep.
Should we do like a report card for the teams already that are not in the playoffs? We can we don't have to do all the teams. We can just start chipping away.
Report card?
Yeah.
Like
give them a grade for their year.
Yeah, we can do that.
It'll be some good content. Like I said, we don't have to do every single team, but like I think each week until the end of the year, we can start just doing like rattling off you.
Yeah, cool.
Give you a couple real to use. See, Tyler, I'm just thinking of you. I'm trying to help you here.
All right.
You can do it by division or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We'll rate teams by their division. Any division you want to start with? Obviously, we can't do NFC East yet.
Yeah. Let's start with the AFC South.
AFC South. Is that Texans, Colts?
Yeah, Texans, Jaguars, Colts, and Titans.
All right, NFC South. Oh, AFC. AFC. Hang on, I just glitched there a second. There we go.
Okay.
All right, AFC South. We're going to be rating them how they did this entire year, starting with the Houston Texans. I'm going with a very B.
Yeah, I think B is like they made the playoffs because they beat just about everyone in their division and only their division.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're one of the teams who had the most promise this year, and they totally floundered it.
Yep.
Like
we expected more from them, but they made the playoffs, so you can't complain about that. But we expected more from like all of their players, and they were all kind of letdowns, except for maybe Joe Mixon. But I'm solid with a B on that.
CJ Stroud had a solid sophomore slump, and despite like injuries to two of his like best guys, they just didn't do enough.
Yeah.
But I think their only redeeming factor was that their defense stepped up this year. I think their defense really stepped up with Derek Stingley. He's going to be a good corner for the future years. But I give him a solid B.
Yep. Indianapolis Colts. I'm going with a C-. Yeah, I'm going with a C-. I think Anthony Richardson was a total letdown this year. He was super high expectations and a super fumble of a quarterback this year, to the point where they benched him kind of for no reason, just attitude, and put in Joe Flacco. So there was a lot of Joe Flacco in and Anthony Richardson out. Kind of weird. There was no real guidance on the team, which I think has a lot to do with why they didn't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm also gonna give him a C-. Like, just even from like where they were drafting, like they could have gotten some better weapons. I think Michael Pittman is not their guy. I think Michael Pittman in general he'll be a solid number 2 receiver. Like I don't ever see him like elevating to number 1 receiver. They need to get like some offensive help. Like I hate to say it, I think it's time for a rebuild with the Colts because they've been trying to retool after doing like somewhat decent like with Frank Reich in the past. But they need to figure out quarterback. I think this year is going to be a make it or break it year for Richardson coming up.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't pan out, they got to start trading Jonathan Taylor because that guy he's going to be stuck on a bad team if they don't do something quick. So
it's
yeah,
funny,
I'm going to go.
They've been a complete revolving door for quarterback over there.
Yeah.
Then they had did they have Wentz?
What was that?
Did they have Carson Wentz?
No.
What am I
They
thinking?
did in the past.
Yeah, they had Phillip Rivers, they had Matt Ryan, and then they've been a revolving door of quarterbacks basically.
I mean, it's not a revolving door. I'm like that was like, they were like thought they had a decent team and they're like, we just need
what did you just say? I'm going to remember this moment. You just said a whole sentence, and I don't know what the hell you just said. All right, 39 minutes into the stream, I'm going back to that, and you're going to realize what you just said. I have no idea what you just said.
No, you're not. No. But, they went through a period of trying to figure out who was going to be their quarterback after Phillip Rivers left. Actually, after Andrew Luck left. Let's just go back to Andrew Luck. They try to replace Andrew Luck with these veteran quarterbacks who are on the last leg, like literally the last toe of their career. And that didn't work out. Anthony Richardson had the highest ceiling, but he also had the lowest floor.
Yep.
When he drafted. So I think he can be decent, but I think they got to really, really reinvent their team right now because it's definitely not going to work. And, I'm actually going to give them a D+ because when you lose to the Giants, you're bad.
You're bad.
You're bad. I'm giving D+.
Yeah. Jacksonville Jaguars, I think, are right there also. I think they're a D+ this year as far as their report card for the entire year. Yes, they lost Trevor Lawrence due to injury a couple times throughout the season, but it was a gimme win almost every time you play the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think there was anything really good going on. The best thing that happened to them, though, is BTJ. That's the only highlight that they've had this year is BTJ. And I would probably go with that other running back that they had. He looked pretty good, too.
Etienne? He's great.
Not
I like
Etienne.
Tank Bigsby?
Tank Bigsby. He looked pretty good, actually. So
I think they both can be like decent. I think
Etienne was trash this year, dude. Etienne was not good. I had him on a team, and
he had one bad year. In prior years, he was actually a pretty reliable guy.
He's been good, just not this year.
I feel for Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson's a good coach, but he's also given like some bad situations. He's given a very short leash.
Yeah.
Like I think they gotta rebuild that defense because I
Jacksonville
mean,
Jaguars, where the NFC East coaches go to die.
oh, for real, for real. Uh, I think since they lost Jalen Ramsey and a couple other guys on defense like Calais Campbell, like they need to bring back Saxonville. Like if their offense, if they can get to the AFC Championship with Blake Bortles due to their defense and Leonard Fournette, then they need to find some sort of equation to get that back because
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to win in the AFC South this year. It doesn't take much, so you got to you have to do something.
And then we go to the Tennessee Titans.
Oof.
Tennessee Titans, I think, are a D- report card.
I'm giving them an F.
They are absolutely horrible. Their defense was the only shimmer of a light in their team. Horrible at the quarterback. Mason Rudolph, Will Levis, just not it. Both those guys are second or third string quarterbacks.
Oh.
And on top of that, Calvin Ridley looked decent for what was given to him, but other than that, they were just, that's a gimme win team. You're like, all right, sweet, we're playing the Titans this week. I'm going to win.
Yeah. I'm giving them the ultimate F because not only did they have to rebuild, but they totally missed an easy shot to rebuild with one of those good quarterbacks that in this past year. Like Will Levis, come on. We knew his rookie year. Like he did okay, I guess. But remember they had Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So they did better than they probably should have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you lose Derrick Henry, you lose like a bunch of other guys. I'm like, if you're going to rebuild, commit to the rebuild. Like, especially when you get a new head coach. I'm like, don't settle with the trash that you inherited. You had a chance.
Yeah.
And they literally made every bad pick imaginable. So yes, F.
Yeah.
F.
F.
F. Should we go NFC South now?
NFC South. Let's do it. NFC South Falcons, Dave. What's your grade on their report card this year?
I'm going to give them a B-. I'm going to give them a B- because I think they had the parts to get a really good team, but they kind of underachieved. Like, they lost some games they should have won. Like, don't get me wrong. The reason why I'm giving them B- is because they actually played really well against the Bucs. They actually, I have to look up how many times they beat the Bucs, but they beat them at least once.
I think both games they beat them.
Yeah, I'm like, and convincingly. So they definitely have like the right players to like rise high in that division, but they lost a couple games they shouldn't have won. And I think a lot of it had to do with Kirk Cousins not committing to him. And in the end, they paid $70 million to a quarterback who they never intended to start long term. So I give them B- for that because they could have used that money to get some other parts, and they didn't.
Yeah, I'll go B-. We saw better moments of Kyle Pitts, but still not great moments, but better than he was in previous years. We also had Bijan really step up a little bit compared to how he was last year. And yeah, they had moments of niceness, but also moments of not. But they've got the pieces. They just didn't put the pieces together. I'm going B- on that one. Carolina Panthers.
Carolina
Panthers.
You know, I was gonna start with them with an F, but I'll raise them up to like a C-, because even though they start off really trashy, I think once they decided to stick with give Bryce Young a chance, it kind of motivated him a little bit more. They had a decent resurgence midway through the year to the last half of the year, and their defense actually looks like they could be something.
Yeah,
like, and Chuba Hubbard, most surprising running back in my mind this year. Like,
correct. Yeah, I would agree with that. Is the most surprising running back this year. And also, I would say B. I'm going B- also, and that's like the same thing. I was giving them an F earlier, but that's because they stuck with Bryce Young, and they actually looked really good towards the end. They almost beat the Chiefs. They almost beat another really good team. I forget off the top of my head, but they had like really good looking moments. Bryce Young looked great, like how he was supposed to. The defense is pretty good. They did pretty well. They did pretty
They
well.
won some games they weren't supposed to.
Yeah, and we had zero expectations from the Panthers this year. So
Yeah.
so there's
And I
that.
said not B minus. I said C.
Yeah, the Panthers. Well, let me put it this way: the Panthers right now have that kind of vibe the Detroit Lions had a couple years ago, where they weren't winning the games, but they started looking really good towards the end of the year. Remember that?
Yeah, I'm just not sure they have the right coach.
That's true too. They don't have a Dan Campbell, but
They
they've got
they
that
have
kind
some,
of vibe where they're like, why are they? They're not really winning the games, but they're not dying.
they definitely have some like little pieces of flecks of gold here where they might be able to make Bryce Young work.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard, I think, if you get the right guys around him, will definitely flourish. And Xavier Legette could be something. If they hang on to Deontay Johnson too,
They already he's gone.
He's gone. Oh yeah, that's right.
He went to Ravens and then he went somewhere else, and now he's like kicked off teams. He completely fell off since he left the Panthers. They might pick him back up again.
Forget what I said then.
Yeah.
But Jonathan Mingo is a bust.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan Mingo's a bust.
New Orleans Saints.
Oh, they started so well. High scoring offense in like the first 4 weeks. Wow, they fell hard. I'm giving them a solid D.
Solid D.
Like,
I think it's right where they were. They started off as one of the hottest teams, and then they just full blown Jenga collapsed.
I'm giving them a D for Dempsey Fire.
Yeah, full blown collapsed. Dude, they were looking decent in the beginning. Then all the receivers died. Derek Carr died. Like, everyone just vanished. And then it was just Alvin Kamara like, oh, crap.
Yeah. I feel for Dennis Allen because he had a decent, like, he had an okay team.
Dude.
In the beginning of the year, even before they went 4-0 and they're like, or no, they won a bunch of early games. Like, I actually thought they were going to, like, put up a challenge because NFC South is a pretty wide open division, even with the Bucks doing really well.
Yeah.
Oof, though. That was a hard fall.
Totally. So, but also they did okay considering how many injuries they had and what they had to go
That's
through.
That's because Talon is an okay coach. He's not the best coach. He won't sit there and just totally ruin your team, but that team ruined him. Yeah. I think that team may have made him untouchable as a head coach for a while.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm giving him a B+.
Me too. B+, maybe an A-. If they won that game against the Commanders, I would have given them an A-, but the expectations were low. They had a lot of hurdles along the way. They lost Mike Evans and Godwin, I think, in the same game, and they had to play a couple games without that, but still Baker Mayfield balled out even without them.
Yeah.
And they were never out of it. They beat good teams this year too. They were the first team to beat the Lions, I believe.
Yeah.
And they beat some really good teams. They were never like out of it, and they were always a problem. Their offense was stellar. Their defense could have been a little bit tighter through the air, but overall, with the expectations I had this year going in, I was like, Mike Evans might be on his last leg here. Yeah. Chris Godwin was meh last year. And Baker Mayfield, how good is before this year? We're like, Baker Mayfield's not that great, but he's good enough to be the starting quarterback for them. This year, I'm like, I'm a fan of Baker Mayfield because of this year. Baker Mayfield, did you see that run the last playoff game? Holy crap! I was like, that's the guy. I was like, I'm a fan. I'm sold. I used to not like Baker Mayfield that much, but this year I've really grown to like him as a competitor.
Baker definitely had his best year, and I think they found a real gem with Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
I think he is going to be the future of that team because, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are not going to be around for them that much longer. Their defense is starting to get older, so they might take a step back next year, but they definitely capitalized on a lot of the momentum they had last year, and they had a pretty solid season. Like the NFC South could have gone a couple different ways at a couple different points. It was looking like the Saints, then the Falcons started pulling ahead. The Buccaneers like, no, we're taking this shit over.
Yeah. And then, what's his name looked really good towards the end. He really started to fill that Chris Godwin spot. Like, it wasn't...
Yeah, that was Jalen McMillan. He is also another great spot.
So he really started to step up because at first we're kind of like, all right, is it Sterling Shepard or who's taking this spot? And then you're like, okay, I guess it's Cade Otton. So
he disappointed me. He did really well at the end of last year. I'm like, oh, Cade Otton's gonna be a sleeper pick. They really didn't utilize him as much.
He was good for like a 4-week stretch. So as soon as the big injuries of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin happened, he was good for like the next 3 or 4 games, and then he kind of fell off.
Well, he was a little, but still, I'm like, I foresaw him being Baker Mayfield's guy, like especially in the red zone. I think he had like in the last 4 weeks of last year, he had the most red zone touchdowns last year. But you might have to fact check me on that. But he was solid at the end of last year. I expect more from this year. But like I said, I think the Buccaneers probably reached their peak, depending on how long Mike Evans and Chris Godwin stay around.
I feel like we said this 2 years ago about Mike Evans.
Well, he's still good. Don't get me wrong. Definite Hall of Famer. But, he is getting older. He was drafted the same year as Odell Beckham, mind you. Actually, no. Yeah, same year as Odell Beckham.
And Amari. I mean, Odell's still trying to play, though. I don't know. I'm just...
Been keyword.
I think he's the most... Yeah, I would think he's possibly one of the most overrated receivers of all time.
I wouldn't say overrated, but...
Well, the fact that, like, he's still considered, like...
He had a fast...
Yeah, he had a good 2-3 years, and then that was it. But he's still somehow riding off of that, which is wild to me.
Because he's very marketable.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's still treated like a superstar, and I'm like, he hasn't done anything in literally years.
He went for the money. He got the money, so he can still market himself. But yeah, so what we give the Panthers, I gave the Panthers a C-. You gave them a what?
Yeah, Wrath the Sid Slothstan. What y'all talking about? Right now, we just ranked the teams on the NFC South on how they did this year. So we did Falcons. We gave a B-, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did Falcons B-. Then we did Panthers also.
I gave them a C-.
You gave them a C-. I think I gave them a... I forget what I gave them, but something like that. And then we did the Saints...
Where they started. By 2 away.
The Saints, we gave a bad score. They had so much hope this year.
They were solid D for
so much hope. And then the Bucks B+, a very solid B+, maybe even an A-, because I like that their expectations were low and they really were like, oh crap, something to consider.
Yeah.
So we just wrapped that up actually. Sid the Sloth Stan.
Should we do another one or should we save them for next week?
We could do a quick one real fast. We'll do
NFC North.
NFC North?
AFC North.
AFC North. Okay. Which team you want to go with first?
You choose.
The Bills, maybe? No, they're still in it.
North. That's the East.
Oh, whoops.
I thought you said East. So that's Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals, Tyler. Get your act together. Tyler, maybe this is why no one watches us. They're like, that guy Tyler, he had no idea what he's talking about.
No idea. Is everyone out? Oh yeah, Ravens are out. That's why I looked at it and I forgot the Ravens are out.
Yeah.
All right. Baltimore.
I'm gonna give them an A- because in the regular season, like, they did very, very good. Like, they actually did a lot better. Like, everyone was saying, like, oh, I don't know if Derrick Henry's gonna be that good of an impact this year. They did torch teams this year, and Lamar Jackson had his best statistical year.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna take that away from them. I think they're all really clicked this year between Derrick Henry and some rising stars like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. I mean, the tight end situation could have been better, considering they really. It was. There were some times where they should have gone Mark Andrews, and there were other times they should have stuck with Isaiah Likely. I think overall though, I'll give them an A minus. I just think they're gonna stay at an A minus, because again in the playoffs they choke artists.
Yeah, for me they're A minus, maybe B plus, because we expected them to be this good and they were that good. So for me, I'm kind of like their report card versus the Buccaneers is going to be plus. We expected less from the Bucs and they didn't. I think the Ravens did exactly how well I thought they'd do this. That's my only issue with maybe giving them a B plus.
Yeah.
Where I was like, they're going to choke in the second round of playoffs.
They did well enough where you can't take away the regular season success away from it, especially in that division, which was like really tough this year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then
the
Bengals.
Bengals
Hard to grade.
I'm gonna give them B plus because they were probably the greatest trash to treasure this year. I mean, like, think about how they started, like where people were like, "Oh my God, is this really the same Bengals?"
Yeah,
and they've clawed their way in every sense of the word to 9-8, and I think that deserves like a B plus. Yep. Like. They balled out like that last half of the year.
Oh, they were. No one wanted to play the Bengals the last 5 weeks. Nobody wants to play the Bengals.
They were playing like their lives depended on it.
Kind of did.
If they played that game the whole year, they probably would have been a solid like 13-14 this year.
Yep.
If they played the whole year like that.
Yep. The Browns.
That's the playoffs this year.
The Browns.
What was it?
The Browns.
The Browns. F.
Enough said. Enough said.
You know what? When you cut this, just put, when we say F, just put Deshaun Watson's face on it.
Yeah, just Deshaun Watson's face. Okay. Steelers,
I'm gonna give a B.
Okay.
I'm giving a B. They made the playoffs, unlike the Bengals, but they limped into the playoffs. Like, the only reason why they made the playoffs is because their schedule was so front heavy, where like they had easy games early on. They had to beat teams like the Giants, which, I mean, we all know the Giants. At that time, it could have gone either way for the Giants still, but I mean, they did okay. And when they had to play the first 2 games without Russell Wilson, they were at least able to win those games with Justin Fields, but their offense really sputtered down the stretch.
I think B is very fair for them, but they were like the opposite of the Bengals. They started
plateauing fast. Yeah. Like, as always, their defense and voodoo magic keeps them in the playoff hunt. Like, Mike Tomlin's got to have some sort of connection with with dark magic or something, because they're, even on his worst teams, and this wasn't his worst team, by the way, even his worst teams have made the playoffs, and that is concerning. Like last year, never should have made the playoffs, made it. This year, they could have made the playoffs. Were they the most convincing playoff team? No. They're definitely a easy one and done team, but better than prior years. But yeah, they were destined to lose the playoffs from like 6 weeks ago.
You know who has? I'm trying to look at all the teams right now. Who I think has the highest grade?
Oh, NFC North.
No. I mean, like, which team? I think you got to give it to the Bills.
For what?
The highest grade.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
With no...
To be determined.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see. To be determined. I can see that.
All right, we just hit exactly 1 hour on the stream.
All right, cool. Wow, look at that. We're getting good at this.
Pretty good at this. Pretty good. All right, I'm hungry. I gotta go eat breakfast. I'm sick of looking at you and your goatee. And go win one of your parlays so you can come down to Florida. How about that?
Don't talk to me about that shit.
All right, bud.
I mean, it was a touchdown, man.
Said this last stand. Thanks for chiming in. Not sure if you're still there, but have a great day if you are. And yeah, I gotta figure out where I'm watching the Super Bowl this year. I might go to like Buffalo Wild Wings.
That'd be cool.